Okay, so picture this, right? It's early morning in Connecticut, like 1995. The sun's barely up, and this newspaper delivery guy, he's just doing his rounds in Hartford, and he sees this struggle going on inside a car. It's a brown sedan. There's a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Before he can even react, the car just speeds off, and it's dragging the woman behind it. I mean, can you imagine? So that's what we're looking at today, the story of Leah Olrich. It's a tough one. We're going to try and put all the pieces together, the evidence, the witnesses, even this really creepy phone call, to try and figure out, what happened. So are you ready to dive in?
It really is a case that's haunted investigators for like almost 30 years, And the thing is, it's not just a crime scene we're talking about. It's this 4-mile stretch of road where this awful thing happened.
That's true. The reports are hard to even read. But yeah, they found her body miles away on a construction site.
It wasn't just a hit and run. Whoever did this wanted to hurt her.
Right. And on top of all that, the investigation was a mess. Witnesses weren't much help. And then there's this 911 call.
Yeah, that call is strange. It's a woman. She says she saw what happened, but she won't give her name. And then she's just gone. The police couldn't trace her.
It's like she wanted to tell someone, but then just disappeared.
It makes you think, what did she know? Was she involved somehow?
Maybe she was scared.
Or maybe protecting someone?
Yeah, who knows? And then there's Leah herself. She had a tough life.
Yeah, she struggled with addiction. And of course, that's where the police focused. Was it drug-related?
Right. Was she involved with the wrong people? But her family said she was a good mom, trying to get better.
She had 2 kids.
A boy and a girl.
Yeah, she loved them a lot.
Her family said she was smart.
Artistic.
They wanted people to know she was more than just,
her past.
Right? She was a real person.
A victim.
It's easy to forget that sometimes.
And then a few days after, the police get another call.
Oh, yeah, that one's creepy.
A man calls.
He's really upset.
Yeah, you can hear it in his voice.
Saying he feels so guilty.
But he says he didn't do it.
And then he starts asking the police all these questions.
Almost like he's checking up on them.
Like he wants to know what they know.
Yeah, me trying to throw them off.
Or maybe, and this is a scary thought, maybe he wanted to relive it.
Through the investigation.
Yeah.
It's a creepy thought for sure.
So we've got all that, and then things get even weirder.
So this is where it gets strange.
Right.
So picture this. You're a mailman, and you come across this mailbox.
Okay.
And it's been egged.
Like a prank.
Yeah, some kids probably, but
Yeah.
inside, along with the mail, is Leah's passport.
Seriously?
And a prescription card.
What are the chances?
Right. So this random act leads them to a guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he works nearby, fits the description of the suspect, owns a car like the one at the scene.
Yeah.
And it even has damage on the passenger side.
So they finally found the guy.
Well, they thought so.
Oh.
He denies everything, and they can't prove anything.
Another dead end.
Yeah, and the case goes cold.
For years.
But then, in 1999, something comes up.
What happened?
And it changes everything.
You've got to be kidding me. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. If you want to find out what happens next, you'll have to join us for part 2. See you then. Okay, so last time we were talking about the Leah Olrich case and how it just went cold.
Right. There was that guy they thought might be involved.
But they couldn't prove anything. So what happened in 1999?
So there's this big investigation going on inside the Hartford PD.
What was it about?
Corruption.
Oh, no.
Yeah, turns out there were a bunch of cops accused of assaulting women.
You mean like...
Sex workers.
Wow.
Yeah, so then everyone starts wondering, could this be connected to Leah's case?
I mean, did they maybe cover something up?
It's possible.
Yeah.
And think about how Leah's family must have felt.
Right, they're supposed to trust the police.
And then it turns out they might be involved.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it really throws the whole investigation into question.
I mean, we've got this mystery caller and the guy who felt guilty but didn't do it.
Right.
And now this.
It's like something's not adding up.
So what happened next?
Well, even with all this going on, Detective Jacobson never gave up.
He seems really dedicated to this case.
He's gone over everything, looking for anything they might have missed.
Yeah, okay, what did he find?
Well, there's this evidence they never tested.
What kind of evidence?
A Snapple bottle.
Really?
And some cigarette butts.
From the crime scene?
Yeah.
You think those could help after all this time?
With DNA technology, you never know what they might find.
It's crazy to think about.
Right, like something so ordinary could be the key to solving this.
And that's why it's so important to keep investigating these cases.
Even after all these years.
Absolutely. But we can't forget about Leah's family.
Of course not.
She had 2 kids, remember?
Yeah, Ryan and Abby.
Imagine growing up without your mom.
Especially after something like this.
Right.
Abby's actually really into true crime now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she wants to find out what happened to her mom.
That's understandable.
It just goes to show how much this affects people.
It's not just about solving a case.
It's about getting justice for the victims.
And their families.
Exactly.
So where do things stand now with the investigation?
It's still unsolved.
But they haven't given up.
No, there's a reward now.
How much?
$50,000
Wow, that's a lot.
for information that leads to an arrest.
I hope someone comes forward.
Detective Jacobson thinks that DNA evidence could be the key.
Imagine if that Snapple bottle
Hmm.
actually solves this whole thing.
It would be amazing.
It would.
But there's something else that's really interesting about this case.
That's that.
Think about how many people could have seen something.
Right, this wasn't just in one place.
Exactly. This went on for miles.
You got that courier,
Yeah.
the woman who called 911,
And the guy who called later?
feeling guilty.
What if there are more people out there who saw something but never said anything? I mean, it's a busy road. Lots of cars going by.
And people don't always pay attention to what's happening around them.
Right. They might have seen the car, but not realize what was going on.
Or maybe they saw something, but they didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, that happens. Especially if they're scared.
Like that woman who called 911.
Right. She was obviously terrified,
And who knows, maybe some people knew something
but they didn't want to say anything.
because they were afraid.
Or maybe they knew the person involved.
That would be tough.
But even if they didn't see the whole thing, they might have seen something important.
Like what?
Maybe they saw the car parked somewhere before it happened.
Or they noticed something about the driver?
Right.
It's all about those little details.
Exactly. It could be anything.
Like one piece of a puzzle.
You need all the pieces to see the whole picture.
And that's why we're talking about this case.
We want to find those missing pieces.
Maybe someone listening knows something,
Anything at all.
even if they think it's not important.
It could make all the difference.
It's been almost 30 years.
And Leah's family still doesn't have answers.
It's time to bring them justice.
We can't let her be forgotten.
So, if you know anything about this case,
Please contact the Connecticut Cold Case Unit
there's a $50,000 reward.
for information leading to an arrest.
Someone out there knows something.
And maybe this is what it takes for them to come forward.
We have to keep hope alive.
We can't let cases like this go cold.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And please, if you have any information, no matter how small, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. We'll be back soon with another compelling story. Until then, stay curious.